Hi, beautifuls and beloveds. I think this is part 5 to Scheherazade, a modern day slavery tale. My tale, not a fish tale. It's a story. So, the Bible talks about strengthening your legs so you can rise above the earth and its troubles and soar like how eagles soar in a storm. They use the winds and they fly with the winds and not let the winds take you down. So a lot of the stepping stones that were put in my way were man-made and forced upon me so people could get content. So I want to know what my grandfather or my stepfather, my dad didn't sign any of these rights away. Because there are certain people, when I was a young teenager, my script, yeah, there's a pretty solid connection with all of that. Proves access. You know? It's not like, oh, we just so happened to randomly pick up. No, there was access to me, to my family. You know my mother's name, Shirley. I told you how she wanted to be an astronaut and how smart she was. I have her report cards. I have a lot of things. Oh boy, we ended up, excuse me, hold on. I gotta fix my bra. It has a life of its own. I'm so sorry.
You're fine.
I did it off camera. Okay, so it's just like, you know, and then we're looking at certain astronauts who have passed on and their names, and it's just like, oh my gosh, they look similar to my mom, you know, doppelgang thing. How coincidental is that? So I'm just kind of wondering, was my family all this time used for gleaning and getting ideas and making things and to happen in reality? And then you look at certain corporations who are involved with certain aspects of different things in our society, and you start seeing the linkage and how it would fit in. So like, I got off the track a little bit. So this is very easy. Let me get back to that again. How does one, if you were to pitch this as a movie, right? What is your slug line? What is your, you know, your pitch in 2 or 3 sentences of what's happening? Well, at first it was how a social media app used their app to serve as surveillance to glean intellectual property and then sell it. Pretty easy, right, to understand?
Yeah.
It explained everything. But then I'm like, wait a minute, there's more than just that access point. And I don't want to say, hey, lucky for that social media, they're still going to get in trouble. Might be distributed amongst others. And it's just like, well, how are they connected to all of these different things? You know, they, in a sense. And it's not hard to figure out. That I'm not going to share for various reasons. But, yeah, so then if you take it a step further, it's always been done to me on some level, just not with social media. It depended upon the access of technology at that time. Like I said, pictures, telephones, pictures being developed at labs. Wouldn't be hard for somebody to own one of those things, you know. All these corporations own all these little businesses. There's an antitrust probe going on right now, and yay to you, Congress, go kick their rear ends, finding out what they purchased, right?
Yeah.
In the last year or two. Because they can own things that they don't list. I don't know how that works. We're very upfront about all of our products and brands that we own. because it can violate, not us, we're not anywhere near that, but these big corporations can violate antitrust laws because they own too much and because they can thwart competition and make it unfair, and they can have their hands in too many pots, which creates this marketing funnel, which means third parties and affiliates. I find it's all very interesting, and you know, I want to put a stop to a lot of this stuff that's happening to me. And it's being done slowly but surely. But you go, Congress. Thank you for taking that up. And President Trump, thank you for all that you're doing too. Because it needs to be done. This isn't okay. Like I said, today it's me, tomorrow it's you. If they're successful, I mean, wouldn't that be sick if I was an experiment?
Yeah.
I didn't sign up for this shit. But, you know, I'm handling it pretty well, I think. Every time I find out more, it's like, oh, my Red Ribbon story goes so flippin' deep. But, my beautifuls and beloveds, let me show you this. That's what this is all about. What's being done to me is being done to Noelle Rose. This beautiful dancer who uses her red ribbons to create Lovejoy. That's what I try to do. It's my story. It's just a cartoon version, really. I thought if that other company could do it with my story, with my beloved, I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it with my own story. Before they get any bright ideas and try to do it with that. She talks about Alexander. Alexander is the one who's been stalking her all this time, which is representative of the corporations, the people who are using surveillance. And just because it wasn't digital back before all this internet stuff happened didn't mean that it wasn't happening. Like I said, we found a lot of stuff. We're like, why is this picture like this? They were color timing my hair. I've never had black hair, but I think that certain people thought that my stepfather was my real father, and you know, he was Jewish, Russian. He had the darker skin and dark hair, and he was handsome, right?
Yeah.
But you don't know. Sorry, he doesn't know. And then they color timed my hair from my natural real color. And then I had other people giving me photos saying, well, this is the same time period, it was at the same party. Why is my hair color timed black here? And this was the real, you know, the auburn, real pretty. Like, something's wrong. So then you put two and two together, and not only do you end up with 4, you end up with 4 plus 4, and then you have 8. 8 plus 8 is 16, and before you know it, you have this wealth of information, evidence, access, and history. So, yeah. I'm documenting this. Why? And I don't care if people get mad at me for doing it. People will have to just understand the fact I have to do this, because if something happens to me, it needs to have been seen by people. And I know that, well, look at where it's at. Our views are much higher than what they're letting on. We know this because we've had our friends, family actually view for us, and we've viewed on other devices, and the counter isn't going up. So, you know, the ones that have 0 or very low numbers, it's wrong, it's fake. You know, look at the platform. Other people found out that was being done to their stuff too, so. I'm really kind of pissed off at all these people for doing it. They're accomplices. You know? Can't say, oh, sorry, haha, your counter was broken, it's a glitch. That backpedal is not going to work anymore. It's just too much. Every single time, I don't think so. Plus the people who really are responsible for digging even deeper than we have will just do that. But yeah, if something happens to me, this is documentation that I knew, and that people were trying to harm me because I knew and I was talking about it. But look, why should I have to suffer all these years? You know how many decades we're talking here? When I should have had more money, more opportunities, and this is, I'm not talking about entitlement here. Please don't even misunderstand me about that. And people aren't really for the most part, but I think it should be said just to have clarity. I'm talking about I was illegal surveillance used against me, suppressed intentionally. I didn't have a level playing field ever, and people stole from me. All of these things, that's a sense of entitlement. I am entitled to my privacy. I am entitled to my free speech. I am entitled to be able to own everything that I own. I'm entitled to my image, and even if I didn't use it in marketing to make money, I'm still entitled to that. Okay? I am entitled to, and I'm entitled to restitution for all the crimes committed against me. That's the difference. It's not an entitlement mentality, for crying out loud. I was serving. Entitlement, I was going around moving bars in a ballet studio, washing floors, even mirrors at time, helping, staying after class, coming before class, not just so I could exercise and dance and do my own thing, but helping for free. That's not an entitlement attitude that I have. I'll tell you, an entitlement attitude, these other people were pushing, no joke. I'm a tiny girl, I get that. Somebody was trying to move me because they were doing a duet. And I'm like, excuse me, I'm twice your age. Get your flipping hands off of me. And it was a woman, and it was a fellow student, and like trying to move my body, like my body was in their way, and trying to. It's like, you don't flip and do that. It's like, kiss my ass. The sense of entitlement, instead of saying, oh, honey, I'm sorry, excuse me, can I pass through here? I need to be over here. That's how you properly do things. No. And then this person's like, and with that attitude like that, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's entitlement. Young, inexperienced, thinking that, because they might be the teacher's pet or something like that, they deserve, to boss people around or harm them or something like that. Get out of here. That's entitlement. Pushing you back of the line, and then they go in front when you have been look, dance is very much based on respect, especially ballet. And I was like, wait a minute, the room's usually set up to where the least experienced dancers were in the back. And I never came in after my cancer treatment. I never came in acting like I knew it all. I was actually saying, I've forgotten all this stuff. I've had cancer treatment, my body's weak, etc., etc., etc. And this is not going back to my beloved or my teacher. I'm talking about the students now. Talk about entitlement. Not all of them, but some of them really nasty. And they would try to put me in back, behind them. And I'm like, no. I was doing this before you were even in diapers. I don't think so. Just because you can kick your leg higher than me right now, give me time and let me heal, and my Batma is going to be grander than yours. Not that I was in competition, but you see, and I look younger. I look younger than young people a lot of times. I know if you get the light right, you can see whatever. I'm not talking about that. Especially at the time, this is going back 12 years now, so I looked even younger than I do now. And these people were trying to push me down, and I was like, I don't think so. What does this have to do with anything? Oh my god, I'm getting totally off the path here. What was I saying?
I'm not sure.
I don't even know myself. Oh, it's so funny. Oh, talking about entitlement, I just want to make sure that's what it was. That this doesn't come across as if I'm trying to have an entitled attitude. No, I deserve, and so does everybody, and we expect to have, and that's why you can sue for people who are breaching this, your privacy, or pushing you down, or not giving you the same access that everybody else has had, or yeah, it's equivalency, the same thing. And that has been denied to me a lot of times. And if I worked hard for something and these other people were just ushered up to the front and just given it, that's an entitlement thing there, and based on their behavior, of course. And that's a problem. It's not looking at it being bitter or anything like that. It's like, no, you're taking advantage. I had this one person and I was sharing what was happening to me. And then they started, it was their niece or somebody that they enrolled in the same dance program that I was in. And I'm like, oh my God, how can you even do that? After everything I told you and all the harm and all of this stuff, and they took advantage of the information that I gave them and also played me and my beloved against, yeah. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
That was terrible. And I'm like, oh wow. So now I don't tell people stuff anymore. In the name of prayer, this was a Christian too. I'm like, get out of here. Using their niece or whoever it was as a pawn, you know, a tool. I think a lot of these people were definitely third parties or affiliates from the corporations. And so it's been that way. I can look. I have it in my journals too. All these people injected in my life to see how I would react. And then we see a movie based on that comes out. So that's another reason why. And I hadn't made it public. I hadn't talked about it. You know? And that makes me concerned for the USPTO, Trademark Office, Patent. You guys should do some searches in the Patent Office. It's really interesting, all these things that they have on the books. Copyright Office. Hey, who's to say a corporation doesn't get their third-party attorney somehow in there and all they're doing is gleaning, letting them know who is writing what and give them ideas. It's a treasure trove. No duh. Right?
Oh, yeah.
You know, they're supposed to be sworn to secrecy and not do that, but obviously we have prisons filled with people doing these crimes, so that doesn't seem to deter anybody. The hearts of many have grown cold. The Lord warns about this. So this is my story. This is my life. And, you know, I'm just going to keep fighting the good fight. I'm not going to tolerate this from people. I don't care if you're a corporation. I don't care if you're a Christian. If you're doing something wrong, you're probably not a real Christian, number one. Number two, if you're a corporation, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. It was so funny, I was talking about Goliath, my Goliath in my life. And it's in one of the videos down below, and in previous videos from years ago. You'd have to access it because it's on, you have to have the link only. Or, what is that called? I don't know, but it's on our Facebook page. And you can access it, these videos, the older videos, that way too. We have hundreds, over 600-700 of them. And you can find where I mentioned, you know, about your Goliath and knowing who your Goliath is, and I talked about that. And then there was a Democratic senator or somebody like that, a representative, that was trying to call President Trump a Goliath.
Or something like that, yeah.
I'm like, I don't think so. So these people are taking my words. The Democrats, some of them are getting that. I'm not a Democrat. And I'm totally turned off from the Democratic Party now after that whole impeachment scam. I'm like, that's it. I'm not voting for you guys. That was horrible. It wasn't even factual. They were twisting everything around because I wanted to find out the truth for myself too. I was like, you know what, let's take a look at this. Anyway, again, it is all modern day slavery. And at different times, different means of access points were used. And if I had a lull in my life where nothing was really, no drama happening in my life, people were interjected to make it happen. I mean, I could see it with, we need to talk. I am not kidding. We don't have to have a relationship. I'm just saying, You need answers, I need answers. You're not the target. Not my target anyway. You know what I'm saying? We need to put this. I think the same people were puppeting both of us, hon. I think the same people. Don't let anybody use your social media or do your social media except you. Don't let them, oh, look how much more likes and more this we're getting. There's a wolf in sheep clothing. Be very careful. Don't be afraid to boot them out. Don't trust anyone. Give it to your family member. Don't be lazy. Just do it yourself. Social media is overrated anyway. Be very careful. It's a spying device. There's already articles and stuff. Not about my specific thing. That's mine. Oh, this is going to be great. Can't wait to break all this stuff and all. You know, where we actually show documentation, all the names, and connect all the dots. And I'm excited. I want this done and over with and out of my life. I want to have my free life. I have people. God wants me to reach out to many hearts and save many people. I know I can do it without all this crappy corporate bullshit in the way. I know I can do it. I know what he's called me to do. I know what he wants me to do with Red Ribbons, and I've been doing it the best I can. It's hard when you've had all this nonsense in your way. And it's like, just get out of the way. Like I said, it's not even a level playing field for me. How many people going through your garbage? Yeah, so don't throw that entitlement bullshit at me. Like I said, most people aren't doing that because they know it's not that. But I'm just kind of, what are you calling that? Heading it off.
At the pass?
Yeah. Yeah. Totally not even close to entitlement. I'm trying to help and serve. And see, go back and listen to my 7 Pillars of Society. I talk about all this stuff. I can easily tell you what's going to be successful and why, not based on what real marketing should be based on. It's based on, does what you're marketing and pitching try to destroy society in any way, shape, or form? If it does, then you're going to be heralded to the top. If it doesn't, they're going to throw you into the religious section. And that's not my thing. You know, I'm not against it, obviously, because I profess Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. I'm not against it at all, but that's not where my product and me belong. Hey, look at how I dress. It would be totally inappropriate for that religiosity stuff. I'm not there. I just happen to be Christian, Jewish, whatever, you know. And it doesn't work. So they're like, where do we put her? She's talented and we need to do something with her to control her because she's going to come out with this and we're going to get in big trouble. Yeah, you know, it's too late for that, okay? You had your chance long ago when I was much younger even. So you got to go back and blame that one person who I know for sure had access. And it ain't Aaron Spelling. He was a good guy to me. I'm talking about, you guys already know who it is. That's the person you should be mad at, not me. I didn't do this. So, yeah. What else about my modern day slavery thing can I tell you about? I can tell you it sucks. Yeah. Slavery. You don't get compensated for what you're doing in any way, shape, or form, and you're forced into it. Pretty much, huh?
Yeah.
And it causes harm. That's it. So I don't want to hear any more about this other stuff with modern day slavery. I was using that for this whole thing that's happening to me. So that's going to have to stop. Again, I know why y'all are doing that, because you're trying to suppress my term and the thing that I'm using for my real life situation, which is very well documented. And go look and see. What was it called? The Stolen Key? Parts 1 and 5 especially. 6 is pretty good too. But parts 1 and 5, you can see we're in our vehicle. We were getting ready to we wanted to get out of our home because the neighbors used too much bug spray and it was making us sick. And we got away from it by going into our vehicle and beep beep, right?
Yep.
Beep beep. Like someone unlocked. Can you believe it? These bad guys are stupid too. That was dumb for them to do because now we have it on video. Because we run. The cop said, make sure you have body cams, dash cams, security cams, cam. We cammed it up. And so we got them running pretty much all the time. And they catch stuff, a lot of stuff. So it's like, let's make this public. I don't care anymore. Let's just make it public. And then so go watch that. And you can hear for yourselves. And we call the non-emergency police number because that's what this kind of crime would be classified as. You know, if the person was standing right there trying to break in, then you call 911. But for this, you call the non-emergency number. We did. Somebody needs to investigate that office too. What is it, the Van Nuys LAPD precinct?
I believe that's what it is.
And also, North Hollywood's better. We get more help from them. Hey, we finally got through and they took the report, the incident report. They have to. They can't not do that. We're still waiting for our copy to come in the mail, so someone light a fire under their rear end and have them send it to us, please. We have our end of the conversation recorded, so at least we got that. But we do need the incident number, please. And then watch part 5, the helicopters. Although you can, most of the time when we do these videos, you can hear the helicopters anyway. We should just put a whole montage up of all these helicopters. All the noise, anytime we go out and go someplace.
I agree.
It'd be comical if anything. Right? In the beginning of that video, and then maybe 2-3 minutes into it, 4 minutes into it, the earthquake in Granada Hills where we were going to move to. And they knew it because they were listening to us. Happened right when we were telling our story. Yep. All these coincidences all the time. I've lived a long time. This kind of stuff that we're having to deal with right now never happened. But interestingly enough, when we look back, like I said, we found a lot of pictures and documentation, and then someone said, hey, look at this piece of merchandising and marketing. Why does this emulate your picture? People were gleaning from it. And who put them on the scent? Yeah, this rabbit hole can go pretty far back, I guess. So, get the new memo out there, corporations. Noelle Rose Anderson Kale is not your girl anymore, and she's coming after you with the fullest extent of the law. Yeah. We're done. We are done. I am done. My name needs to be on a lot of things. Created by, characters created by, costuming ideas. This is real credit. People get paid, even if it's just an idea. People get paid for that. Exact choreography. People get paid for that too. Why can't I? Is that why you were letting me be successful in the dance community? What, you were gleaning from our private conversations and you give other people my ideas? Is that what was happening too? Oh, she's going into dance? Well, we can do the same thing there. Let's just set up that system like that. I want to know that answer too. I never condoned it. I never condoned it ever. And by the way, nobody can sign my rights away. And even if I signed my rights away and you handed me a sneaky contract, you still can't do it because that's illegal. It goes against the Constitution. I told you how we found our landlord sent us a lease. It's like, we never signed that. Somebody forged their signatures.
Yep.
We can't put tape on our walls. You know, like transparent Scotch tape type stuff. But we can put nail holes. Where did that come from? My husband, son, and I, we were joking around because we used to manage properties in our privacy of our own home, or so we thought, and we were joking about what a dream-like situation would be